What's good, guys? It's your boy Amar OD, aka The Amar Show. We are back with another episode of ODTV. You know what it is, all right? So today we have a voice memo that has the internet on fire right now, has the internet very divided as well. And you guys let me know, after hearing this voice memo, do you think this guy is refreshingly honest, or did he cross a line or boundary? All right, let's get straight into it.
I think you are lovely. However, I would love to, if we're going to go to your place on Thursday, I am looking to have that physical intimacy to see if, I am sexually compatible with you. So, if I'm going to come over, I would be hoping to, hook up, have sex, have a good time, have, that romantic spark and that physical spark there for my own sake, because it's hard for me to continue dating someone and seeing them if I don't know if I'm sexually compatible. So I know you said I don't know about that. So I guess my thing is what would be the point of me coming over then if we're not gonna hook up and cuddle and be intimate with each other? And if that's what you don't want, that's fine. But I think we should just end it here then, respectfully, just because first date, that's fine. You want to get to know each other, I'm all about that. But I am looking to have that physical aspect there, and I don't want to continue seeing someone if I don't know if that's good, if that's not there or not. So up to you. Let me know. I'm happy to, if you do want me to come over, I'm happy to do so. Would love to have a good time, and we can have some wine, hang out, and chill. But if you're not trying to hook up, then I think we should just go our separate ways. Let me know.
All right, there it is. You guys heard it. Before I show you any other examples, let me know what you guys think of what you just heard, okay? I'm hearing people talking about how he is manipulative, he is coercive, all that type of stuff. Let me know if you agree or disagree down in the comments. First off, we're going to go with the opposition to this voice memo, and we're going to start off with them airing out their grievances.
A video recently went viral of an audio message a man left a woman after only the first date, where he told her the next time he saw her, he wanted to be...
I think on the voice memo here, if I go back to it, it said after the second date, if this is right.
I think we should just
Yeah, so I think, sorry guys, this is just my phone here. But yeah, so full voice memo from voice memo guy asking for intimacy after a second date. What do you think? All right, so just keeping the facts straight. It's after the second date, not the first date.
Physically intimate to see if they were compatible. He then goes on to say he doesn't even see the point in seeing her again if they're not going to hook up. People then had the audacity to praise this man, claiming he was honest and upfront about his feelings. And so I just wanted to propose, if we're going to be so upfront and honest, and we're going to treat each other like we're objects, not like we're human beings created with a soul and with emotions and reasoning, and we can build connection. I think after the first date, women should start saying to men, yay, next date, let's go to the bank and let's see if we're financially compatible. Let's see if you can buy me a house and take care of me for the rest of my life. How much money do your parents have? What are they going to be leaving us when they go to the afterlife? I just want to check our financials out. What I find wild about this situation is that men can be evil. They can minimize a woman to just a hole and get praised for their honesty. But if a woman says, hey, I'm only interested in dating men who can financially take care of me, if I'm going to be his wife, if I'm going to show up for him, if I'm going to pleasure him, can he take care of me? She'll get called a gold digger immediately. A man can treat a woman like a hole and get called honest and, he's just a man. A woman can say, can you financially take care of me? And she's a gold digger. So if we're going to play like that, before we go to the bedroom, let's go to the bank.
Can I be honest with you? After this take, let me know what you guys think as well. But I think what he's describing is already happening on both ends, both male and female. I just don't feel like the men are the only ones displaying this type of attitude. I think dating has become very transactional, at least in popular culture. In my opinion, I've been seeing that a lot. Things have been revolving a lot around men's finances, women's bodies, sexuality. Those type of things have become very prominent within dating culture within this last decade, at the very least, in my opinion. I've been seeing it kind of go down a more shallow path than it once was back in the day. It used to be all about getting to know somebody, all that stuff. Now it's about how much money does he have? Does he have nice things? Is he able to provide? That's the word, provide. And then on the men's side, it's like, how quick can I get, physical with this woman? And how quick can I guess, transact with this woman? That's what I've been noticing in social media, at the very least, popular social media. These type of narratives have been playing out for the last little while. So I think what he's talking about, I get his point of view, but I think what he's saying on both sides is already happening. Okay. So now we're gonna go to people who are on the voice memo guy's team and kind of in support of what he did because of the honesty and the transparency. Okay. So let's check this out.
If you haven't already seen it, a voice memo has gone viral that a woman shared because she invited a man over to her apartment and he sent her a voice memo letting her know that since they've already been on 2 dates, he would like to explore if they're sexually compatible when he comes over to her apartment, and wanted to know if that was also how she was feeling before he came over, right? He wanted to smash. She posted this as though it was some horrible thing, but I am team voice memo man is a walking green flag
Okay.
because of what this comment is mentioning, that this kind of openness saves lives. Because what voice memo man was doing, even though it's maybe not something we're used to or it's a little awkward, he was trying to get consent from a person before putting them in a situation that was very uncomfortable for them, or that could have been very uncomfortable for them.
I agree with her take on it, but I think there's one detail that we're kind of missing that I'm seeing both sides not really touching on too much so far. So I heard something in that voice memo that changes things in my opinion. And I had to listen to that voice memo a couple of times to catch it, but it does change things. But I am in more agreements with her than I am with the latter. So
I mean, because I found myself in this situation, I'm sure many people have, where you want to invite someone over to your home. I like to play video games, so I'll invite someone over to play video games, not understanding that that person wants to have sex with you, and then they make a move and they're in your home, and then you have to do the work of kicking them out, and it's incredibly awkward and hard. And sometimes does not even go well and ends up putting people in really traumatic situations that they don't want to experience. But all of this can be avoided if people are super open and clear and honest about what they want before situations have things like pressure and coercion tied into them. And honestly, I think rape culture is a part of why it makes us uncomfortable when people are this open, right? Because we live in a society that has normalized consent not being an open conversation, not being brutally honest. What we have instead is a culture that normalizes signals and like indirectness. And that's what people find attractive. People are allowed to have their own romantic and sexual interests, right? But you do also have to understand that the idea is that things should be indirect and unspoken is what enables rape culture to continue, right? Because then when people are in situations that they didn't want to be in, people are allowed to say, oh, well, there was this signal or there was this signal. And so I thought what I was doing was okay. And that's accepted as a valid excuse because we haven't normalized people just openly saying, hey, I would like to have sex with you. Is that all right? Or we haven't normalized people sitting down and having a conversation before they have a sexual encounter about what type of sex is appropriate and what other sexual experiences aren't wanted. People don't talk about those things. It's seen as awkward if you tell someone, hey, I would like to sit down and talk about our sexual preferences before we do anything, okay? Or, hey, before I come to your house, I would like to know if you want to have sex with me. That gets posted on blast online and ridiculed like it's some sort of bad thing when it's really a life-saving conversation about consent. So again, I think voice memo man is a walking green flag, and I do think that people that are making fun of him or uncomfortable by that type of communication should really deeply inspect where their ideas of what like romance and sexuality looks like comes from, and if those ideas might be influenced by a culture that isn't actually safe. If you haven't already seen it, a voice memo has gone.
Okay. So I agree with what she's saying. I like the openness of him because I feel like that openness does save lives and save you from traumatic situations. He put it out on the table and put everything out on Front Street for her to make that decision whether she wants to continue seeing him or not. And they could go their separate ways. You know what I mean? If she doesn't want to. So as she was describing towards the middle of this, she was saying when you leave things to the unsaids, the gray spaces is what I call them. You leave things up in the air to be interpreted freely. And the thing is, two parties can interpret one thing completely different. And depending on what's being interpreted, if anybody acted on that and the other party wasn't in agreement, it could lead to a very traumatic situation for both parties at the end of the day and very serious consequences after that as well. So that's why I kind of commend the openness and truthfulness of how he was coming across. This comment here, this first comment, openness is good, but the message sounded quite disrespectful. To me, towards the end there especially, I feel like he got too comfortable with the way he was speaking to her, especially for somebody you've only seen twice. Because remember, it's after the second date he sent this, what the memo was explaining. So in my opinion, I think the one part, I think it was at the 40-second mark in the voice memo. So we're going to go over there right now.
I know you said I don't know about that. So like, I guess my thing is like what
I know you said I don't know about that. So insinuates that they had a conversation beforehand about this, maybe on the second date, maybe on the first date, and it sounded like she was unsure, possibly uncomfortable. We're not going to jump to conclusions, but just some quick advice for men out there watching this. It'll save you from all sorts of awkward situations. Is just anything but an enthusiastic yes is a no. Just assume so. All right. So if you're a guy, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you wanting a physical relationship and asking for that off top, to be honest with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all because you're being truthful about the situation. And again, you're giving the other party a choice to choose if they want to be a part of this type of agreement or not. The only thing is, if they've said, especially when it comes to women, they're very indirect people. Like they're not a monolith, but more so than not, very indirect. Do not like confrontation. They don't like confrontation or anything like that. So just off of how he's moving here, in my opinion, it shows that he's kind of inexperienced with women because you know this. Cut your losses there, move on. She's not on what you're on, and keep it pushing. I'm not to say you won't find a girl that's on the same type of energy you're on, because I'm sure you can, especially it's 2026. Everyone's very sexually liberated and very free with that type of stuff. So I think the same approach would work with somebody else, in my opinion, if you kept it free. Because I've heard girls even saying too, like, sometimes I don't want to go on the dates. I just want to go to the house and smash if I'm into him that much. But they give you lead ons, and they give you certain signals that'll give you that type of energy so you know to move in. But this, if she's saying, I'm not sure, I don't know, again, anything other than a yes, keep it pushing, just assume it's a no, and yeah, just cut your losses there and keep it moving. But yes, I think the openness is great. The truthfulness is great. I just think the fact that he was pushing on her boundaries towards the end there, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's coercion yet, but I do think if he continues it, it can lead into that manipulative, coercive route. So early, I think distasteful. If you want to have a talk about being distasteful, yes, definitely. I don't recommend this type of approach, especially towards the end there, where again, he started sounding way too comfortable, in my opinion. But yes, I think it'd be better if people were this kind of truthful, maybe with a bit more tact, a bit more class, a bit more taste to it. But the first date, first, second, even third date, maybe that conversation is brought up and it should look more like, hey, I just wanted to know, what did you want out of this relationship? When you ask people this, they usually stop, pause, and think about it because they never really gave it a good thought. And you let them know, like, look, I want something long term. I'm looking for something long term. I want to build an actual relationship where we gain a certain level of respect for each other. We love each other. And of course, we're physical at some point as well. If you want to just keep it physical, be like, look, I'm not looking for anything serious right now. I'm looking for more of a physical type of relationship off top. We don't have to be monogamous. Or if you want to be monogamous, I'm expecting us to be exclusive to one another with this sexual relationship, but you could go on dates with other people if you want, but this is what I'm looking for. You put it on the table and she could say yes or no to it. And she could give you her options, whether what she wants to do in that sense. You know what I mean? And you guys can make it about that. And you guys agree to something, disagree to something, part ways. And that's that. All right. So let's move on to the third clip. I think this was an interesting take by this lady here. Let's hear her out. See what she has to say.
I think a lot of heterosexual women do not want to date in order to suss out compatibility. They want to date as a performance. They want to date as a dance. Now, I'm saying many heterosexual women. I am not saying all. I am not even saying a majority. I am saying many who are dating in order to participate in the performance of romance rather than actually trying to ascertain whether they are compatible with this person. Because to me, it feels like a very cut and dry situation. This guy sent a voice note asking a question. The answer was no. The woman either responded by saying no or responded indirectly by blocking him, unmatching him. Either way, dating worked. The point of dating is to go out with someone, figure out if you're compatible enough to keep going out. The reason you ask a question is,
and to a certain degree, like, this is why a lot of guys are kind of confused by this that I'm seeing, is that it's almost like the moment a woman realizes she's incompatible, it's almost like asterisk beside your name. Like it's a cross beside you. Like it's almost illegal for a girl to find you incompatible. You got to be a creep or something like that. Like that's not the message I want to be put across with how everybody's reacting to this, because I do think people should be able to be honest, whether male or female, and be very honest with the situation and be able to communicate that, just so all the cards are on the table and everybody can make an educated choice of what they want.
to get an answer. Anytime you ask a question, you know that there's a 50% chance that the answer is going to be no. Guy knew there was a 50% chance of the answer being no. He
Exactly.
still asked anyway because he wanted the answer. Wanting an answer to a question does not make you coercive. I think.
But the thing is, the only thing I don't think it makes it coercive at all. So I do agree with that. But the thing is, he alluded to the fact that they already had somewhat of a conversation around this topic in the voice memo, like I just showed you guys. And then he decided to kind of follow up. I guess the date was, I don't know whose idea it was to have it at her house. I'm going to assume it was hers because it's her house. You know what I mean? You don't just, strangers don't just invite themselves to your house when they just meet you. You know what I mean? So he was just saying, look, if it's at your house, then I would like us to be somewhat physical or physical all the way just to see if we're compatible sexually. But like she didn't agree and posted it to the internet. And I like this comment here. Something we are not talking about is the fact that the voice memo should have never reached the internet. Privacy doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? The moment you piss somebody off or do something crazy, it's on the internet for everybody to see. So that's another thing we could talk about. That's another conversation to have for another day. But yes, I don't think being transparent is a bad thing. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with being that open. That's the only part I saw that was pretty distasteful. Him just following up, and I don't want to say he's pushy because he's right before that. If he did it again, then I would start going into okay, like you didn't get the hint, but yeah.
The problem that he ran into, a lot of women want men to want something that they don't want. And it almost feels like it's born out of this place of control. The man has to perform
Mhm.
the way that the woman wants him to perform in order to feel some sense of value. I think it
Mhm.
would have been interesting if this woman had asked herself, do I actually even like this man? Because that
Exactly.
is a question that so many women on this app are not asking themselves. So fixated on what people should be doing and how people should be acting.
Mhm.
Is this something you even want? She was
Exactly.
upset that he didn't play the game exactly the way she wanted it to be played.
That's what I was trying to allude to earlier when I'm saying it's confusing, man, because like, yo, if we don't say something, we're manipulative. If we do say something, we're coercive now. It's like, come on, man. It just literally sounds like you're not getting things the way you want it. You know what I mean? And that's when you start complaining. So it's like the facts are there on the table. He said exactly what he wanted, and now he's being crucified for it. Again, you see where I disagree with him on. I don't do I think it makes him coercive yet? I don't think so. I think where before he even gets that title, you know?
And to me, that's a control issue. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that just in response to this voice memo situation. I genuinely think for a lot of women, it's not enough for a man to treat you the way you ask to be treated. He has to treat you that way independently
Mhm.
without any guidance, input, or suggestions whatsoever.
So she's hitting this on the nail. It's almost like I do see it. I see exactly what she's saying with the mannerisms of today's dating market. It's like everything's up in the air, everything's unsaid, but like we should just know exactly what to do.
I understand that impulse. I understand where that desire comes from. But that is ultimately wanting someone to read your mind. I want to sleep with you, and if you don't want to sleep with me, then we should keep it moving. Is not
Mhm.
a radical thing to say. It was poorly said. I am a writer.
See?
I first to acknowledge.
That's what I mean by distasteful. It was poorly said. She's so eloquent with the way she's saying this stuff. I love it. But I think it's good. I think it's a good thing for people to be honest like that.
His problem isn't that he wanted to sleep with her.
Mhm.
His problem is that he didn't say it the right way. Did she want to sleep with him? Because the rest is irrelevant. If she
Mhm.
didn't, then she says no. And then dating worked. If she did want to sleep with him, then she says yes, and dating worked. Either way, dating worked. He weeded himself out. He weeded her
Exactly.
out, however you want to see it. It also reminds me of this thing that I see a lot
Exactly.
online, women posting men who are balding, who are in their late 30s, early 40s. And it
Mhm.
says on their dating profile, short term, open to long, or it says that they're not looking for anything serious.
Mhm.
And then these women will be so upset and say, well, you're 40 and you're balding and you're not looking for anything serious. What are you looking for? And to me, it feels like one of those situations where he's telling you what he's looking for. He's looking for something short
Exactly.
term and he's maybe open to something long. Just because you don't like that he is a balding middle aged man and doesn't want a serious relationship doesn't mean that that's not what he's allowed to want. Shouldn't we appreciate people for communicating their wants and desires
Yep.
clearly
Exactly.
and not leaving any ambiguity on the table? Again, I am not saying the voice memo guy couldn't have framed it better. I am saying the problem is not what he wanted. The problem is that you don't like that that's what he wanted. And that is a control problem. I think a lot.
I think she explained that perfectly. I agree completely with what she said. I like it. Remember, not all women are a monolith out there. So we're not saying all women are like this, but this is the trend that we are seeing in today's dating market when it comes to this type of topic. So I do think this voice memo led to a bigger conversation that needed to be had. And I think needs to continue to be had just so we can get down to the crux of the situation. But again, I think this was a good talk for us, you know? So thank you guys for attending. Let me know your point of view below or your opinions below. It's your boy Omar OD, aka The Omar Show, and this is another episode of ODTV. I hope everybody has a great night, great morning, great rest of your day, however in the day you are, or wherever in the day you are. And yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.